This week, coming up from the ashes.
So, like, you're referring to, like, specifically the original Super Mario Bros. Or, like, a Super Mario Bros. Game in particular?
No, I'm talking about the original. Like, the 1985,
original.
I think it was.
It's hard to beat that
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
original. It's hard to beat that original chiptune. Like,
Ba-na-na-na-na. Yeah, exactly.
dun, 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 dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun.
Well, let's be fair.
It
It's
is-
all going through our heads right now.
Yeah, you're
It
welcome.
is.
Thank you.
It is a very unforgettable soundtrack.
It's just gonna be the
It
rest
is.
of the hour is gonna be us doing that.
All right, people of Earth, welcome back to From the Ashes podcast. I am your host, Arson is Clown. Yes, I'm the host again. Deal with it. And with me, as usual, are Phoenix and Mr. Bones Baron slash Zombie, and a bit of a surprise special new appearance out of the blue, completely out of nowhere. Sir Chibi Grimlock. How you doing, guys?
Doing wonderful. Thank you for asking.
I'm doing
That's
great.
formal.
I'm doing great, but that was, and when he says it was from out of like left field, basically, it really was.
Oh man,
He
yeah.
popped in to start this podcast. He said, "By the way,"
10 minutes before we started.
I just imagine Assassin starts it, and all of a sudden he's just like, "A new challenger approaches."
That is basically how it went, yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty quick. Kind of like my sex life. I mean, what? Well,
Wait, you
anyways.
have one?
Well, never mind. We're not going into that. This is about video games. Okay.
I didn't know this podcast was so relatable.
So, but yeah, welcome in, Grim man. It's nice to formally meet you.
Yeah.
But yeah, possibly he could be joining the team for more podcasts in the future. So we'll see how that works out.
I am very excited at that prospect.
But
Oh.
yeah, you know,
Mhm.
this is it. Quite a unique episode that we're doing here. We'll see how it turns out. But we're here today to finally. This has been months in the making. Not really. This has been months in anticipation of making.
Cancellations.
Yeah. Video game soundtracks. We're finally here. We're finally here, gentlemen. We
Right.
made it.
It's
Yeah.
almost
Finally
enough
here
to make me cry,
because-
man.
The best soundtracks in gaming. And I will start the floor with Grim.
Oh,
Pick on the new
all
guy.
right. All
Nice.
right, fair enough.
Go on the intern.
Okay.
All I'm saying is, if you take my favorite, you're off the team. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so obviously there's a lot of really good soundtracks, but I have like my top 3, and number 1 always
let's
that
start-
comes to my mind.
Let's start with the bottom. Okay, we'll
Oh,
work
bottom?
our way up. Yes.
Any FromSoft title has stellar music. My personal favorite is Bloodborne, and I don't know if you guys have heard the First Hunter track. That's the song that plays when you fight Gurman, who's the first hunter.
You're asking me if I listen to that?
But it's a great track. I love the violins. I love the choir that sings in Latin towards the middle and then flows on through the end. It's just a solid track altogether, and that just kind of goes on for the rest of FromSoft's works. Like they are so like uniform when it comes to specifically honing in on what a boss specializes. That like it's just peak.
Dark Souls 3 soundtrack is still better.
It is pretty good. I can't lie. It is good, but it's not better than Bloodborne.
I have to disagree with you there, chum.
Understandable.
I do still think the First Hunter clears most of the DS3 soundtrack. That is such a good track.
It is such a good track.
I would agree, but I've never played it, so I have no idea.
Ah,
So I was just sitting here quiet.
for the first time.
Yeah,
Oh, hierarchy really is shifting.
Don't get used
Um,
to it.
Oh,
So-
well, all I have to do is just invite more people, and then maybe we'll even get the guy in my basement in here. How about that?
Not him. Holy crap! If you
You'll
get
be
him
the
in here,
new host.
then he may get his house back. You don't want that.
Just gonna call for help on the podcast.
All
Just
right,
imagine.
just imagine what.
I just imagine we're talking and stuff. All of a sudden, you hear in the background, "Help me! Help!" And the assassin just like starts hitting like his basement door with a broom. He's like, "Quiet, you!"
Sure.
So it's pretty interesting to mesh like Friends of Arson, because before 10 20 minutes ago I had no idea who this dude was, and now he's here, and it's pretty cool because now we get to we're gonna have a podcast in the future that's gonna be all about arson stories, and it's gonna be like the roast of Arson. Ooh, that's good.
What? When
Write that
did this
down. Write
come
that
up?
down.
We could just do a series of podcasts of roasts.
Oh,
Conspiring behind my back.
Well, I mean, it would come around.
yeah.
Everybody would get their turn at the roasting station.
Well, that's a good pick, I would say, for you, Grim, but I wouldn't know. But what about someone else? What's a good pick for someone else? I don't know. Arson, you choose who goes next.
Bones, I'd like to hear what you have on your mind.
Okay, so I don't have any wow.
Bleep, bleep, bleep.
Easier for you to say than it was me. There's no order to this list. I just was thinking of like games and stuff like that. It's like, oh, I like this. And I know there was enough time to come up with an order, but I kind of forgot about it. Because you kept saying, "Oh, we're gonna do it," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll believe that when it comes to it." And it happened. I'm like, "Oh, I never went back and did this." So, I'll just start at the bottom of it. So, not in the order. So, Ghost in the Shell game on PlayStation 1.
Wow. What a pick.
I don't think I've even heard of that.
Really?
That sounds kind of familiar. You said it was Ghost in a Shell?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I've heard of that, but I know I haven't played it.
It's a ghost that
So-
really echoes through your ears because he's in a shell. Get it? No.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well.
Phoenix, that was bad even for me.
I know.
Like I even went, ugh.
Physically
Well, to be fair,
recoiled.
half the things you say, I'm like, so
Yes.
it's about time I get you.
Turnabout is fair play, but I just wanted to let you know that made me physically groan
That's funny.
like a ghost.
All right. So continue. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's very techno-y because it's Ghost in the Shell. And for those of you that haven't played the game, you basically play as a operator in one of the Tachikomas. And so you're driving around the levels, shooting up bad guys. And, that's basically the game. Defeat the enemies, go on to the next level, defeat the enemies, repeat. So, but the music is good. It's very techno-y. I recommend giving it a listen if you have a moment. Or whatever, or don't, it's fine. I'm not going to know either way.
I'd like to hear Arson's thought on that since he was what a pick.
I'm just like I'm more surprised that he picked a game from the PS1 era. It's not like that I've played the game, but like I'm just like, wow, he was really specific on that.
Yeah.
So now I gotta give the soundtrack a listen.
Yeah. Well,
All
good
right,
pick.
Phoenix, you're up.
All right, so I'm going to take you down a little journey first. I want to give some shout outs to a couple of the OG games that really deserve recognition. They're not so much my favorite, but some of them paved the way. Like What's more iconic than the Super Mario Brothers soundtrack? Like for real?
Oh, that is.
You
Yeah,
know?
Mario music is so freaking good.
I mean, then you got like Mega Man 2. Then you got Tetris, like all that stuff. Legend of Zelda, you know, anything from Zelda. Like I really like Breath of the Wild, but that's as far as I go with the well, besides like maybe Witcher and Silent Hill 2. But those are like my shout outs. Like, yeah, the Super Mario Brothers though is super iconic, and it'll always be one of the best soundtracks ever. It'll be like when it comes to video games, it'll be one of like the most memorable because who doesn't know dun 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 dun.
So like you're referring to like specifically the original Super Mario Bros. Or like a Super Mario Bros. Game in particular?
No, I'm talking about the original, like the
The original.
1985. I think it was.
It's hard to beat that
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
original. It's hard to beat that original chiptune. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Dun, 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 dun,
Dun,
dun, dun.
dun, 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 dun.
So let's be fair.
It
It's
is-
all going through our heads right now.
Yeah, you're
It
welcome.
is.
Thank you.
It is a very unforgettable soundtrack.
It's just gonna be the
It
rest
is.
of the hour is gonna be us doing that. But yeah, I mean, as memorable as like Super Mario World was, and others, 64, like Super Mario Brothers set the standard, and let me tell you, they set it high because there's nothing more memorable than that when you first go into level one, World 1, level 1, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's something. And I look, and yes, I'm showing my age, which y'all know. Well, maybe not Grim, but I remember playing it on the original Nintendo back when it was new. So, like as a boy to see that was just flat out amazing. I was like 7 or 8 years old, and getting to hear that, before that it was all like crappier music from the Atari or whatnot, like those earlier systems. Like,
Did you ever beat the game?
oh yeah, I get my Switch out like maybe once every few months, and I go through and I beat it, like, and see how faster I can beat it and stuff like that.
It's pretty
Nice.
Yeah. So I just did it. I just actually beat the game. Actually, when I went home a couple weeks ago, I was sitting in the hotel. Just had really nothing to do, so I got my Switch out and went and beat Mario Brothers. And of course, you always have to stop, like on World 3 and get the infinite lives. Always. I always have to do that. It's like it like embedded in my head. So, but I'm gonna say that this went from a shout out to a full on pick. So I'm just gonna go ahead and choose this one, so I don't have to hog any more time, and I can go to my next after we get back around. But yeah, Super Mario Brothers, man, it's not my favorite, but it is the most iconic, and no one can beat that as when it comes to iconic music. I don't care, and that's even my favorite pick. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
It is. It's just a solid track. It is. It's
One that
definitely
started it all.
tough. Yeah.
For real. I mean, I know Donkey Kong had some good music, but that was the previous generation, and that was,
We were still starting out,
right. So, but yeah, that's I guess that'll be my first pick, which means I have 4 more picks after this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess it's my turn then. Well, I'm just gonna say right now, it's hard, nearly impossible to not find a Sonic game that has bad music.
That is true.
As many fans have stated, the game might be shit, but the soundtrack will always be slapping.
I swear, if you take my pick, I'm gonna reach through here and go for it. If you take my other pick, that's my next one I was gonna say.
Of all the Sonic games, though, the one that I personally hold close to my heart, as always has been stated before, is Sonic Unleashed.
Okay, yeah.
Sonic Unleashed has, personally to me, the best soundtrack in any Sonic game. That's not at all to detract from the other games. They are all basically, like, if I had to put them on a scale, they would be slightly below Sonic Unleashed to me. That's how good they all are. But Sonic Unleashed, you travel around the world, and they take pieces of music from the countries that you visit and remix them into, fast-paced beats when you're playing Sonic, or mostly slow and melodic beats for when you're playing the Werehog at night. And that just makes for some really good music. Like, Windmill Isle, the first level that you play in the game, is the best piece of soundtrack I've ever heard to this day. It is whoever whoever played the violin had so much fun. It's so fast, it's so upbeat. I love that track to death. It's so good. Um, the boss fights are also really good. Egg Dragoon is still one of the best Eggman mechs ever. uh, and man, I miss the Werehog. I know not a lot of people like the Werehog as a gameplay mechanic, but man, he was so cool.
I like the Werehog. The only thing, and it's not even like I necessarily thought it was bad. It's that jazz track that plays whenever you
Yeah,
fight stuff.
it always kept repeating.
It's good. It's a good track. But when you're listening to it for like 5 minutes straight, and then you like move 30 seconds without music, and then just go straight back into that jazz track, it's like, okay, come
It
on.
becomes a bunch
But
of garbled mess by that
it
point.
does.
You're
It
trying to
does.
listen to the night tracks, man.
A little monotonous, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Okay, since you mentioned Sonic, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw mine out there with yours after yours, and we'll see you down on mine. Okay, so
All right.
this way it'll get me out of one extra pick. My favorite, like when it comes to Sonic games, is Sonic CD, especially the Sonic Boom theme song. Like,
That's good. That is so good.
it is so good. So like that's like my favorite. For some reason, I had that on Sega CD, right? And when that intro comes on when you start the game, it's like, dude, that is amazing. Like, I loved it. The animation of the cartoon that leads into the game. It's just everything that envelops that, and it's like so good. I love that. And the rest of the soundtrack could be garbage, which it's not. But that one song makes it for me, like for the whole soundtrack. So just
It
like
also
Sonic
introduced
Boom.
us. It also introduced us to one of the best characters,
That's true.
Metal Sonic.
Yeah.
That's true. So, but yeah, I figured I'd pair that with yours since it was Sonic related.
Also one
Well,
of the best stages.
since-
Stardust Speedway for life.
Oh.
I figured I'd get my Sonic take out as well. One of the first Sonic games I played, not the first, because my first was Sonic 2, but one of the first Sonic games I ever played, Sonic Rush, favorite. That is one of my favorite games of all time, probably my favorite Sonic game, and aside from Frontiers, it's Frontiers definitely rivals it, but like Rush has my favorite Sonic music.
I like the animations. Very crisp.
Wonder if Zhombi has any Sonic on his list.
Hey, you got any Sonic there, Zombie?
I do not.
Wow, we're gonna
What?
shame
The
you for
odd
this.
man out.
You're ashamed.
Everyone point and laugh.
No wonder you're nothing but bones. You gotta get some of them upbeat beats in your life, man.
To be honest, I didn't know anybody growing up that had a Sega, nor did I have one. And I didn't get the only Sega I ever really had it played on was I had one of the really small ones, and I've talked about this before. When I went to college, I
Yeah.
had those really small ones, and I only had a few games for it. And I can't remember what happened to it. Either one of my roommates broke it or stole it or something like that. I can't remember what happened. So, and after that, I was kind of like, well, I don't got the money to replace it. So, I mean, I've played it before, but only like little bits, not really enough to be like, oh, wow, I like this, or that music is good. It's just like, eh. So,
Well, the first Sonic game I ever played was the second one because I didn't have a Master System like my buddy did, but he never had Sonic the Hedgehog. But first time I ever played it was Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and that was on the Genesis. And so we actually had that, and that was my first experience. But like I said, my best experience, especially with soundtracks, was CD. So some good picks there, gentlemen.
Yeah.
superb music, sublime,
Mm-hmm.
eargasms galore.
Well, I guess we could probably push this to Zombie for his next pick because we kind of just like took over for a
Okay,
second.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Bones. The floor is yours for now.
So my next one is a series of games. It's the Fallout.
Wow, so surprising. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's a lot of it is like the music is good, and it's not just like the songs you can listen to on the radio. I really like some of the just like the background music that as you're adventuring, to me just like it fits very well.
Mm-hmm.
Especially going back to like Fallout 2. Because like I've pretty much played all of them up to now. And then of course,
the classic Fallouts were like, I love the atmosphere of those. So good.
oh yeah. And especially you get just that dichotomy of you're out in the wasteland wandering around, and one of those little upbeat songs comes over the edge, and you're like, yeah, okay, this is slightly jarring, but whatever. That's a good song.
Gives you a little pep in your step.
Yeah, to keep from stepping on all them landmines.
Mm-hmm.
Please, you just like to place those landmines for people to step on.
I didn't say who placed them. I just said keep from stepping on them.
Ah, gotcha. Well, yeah, Fallout has some really good music to it. Like, I can admit that. Like, I haven't played the whole series, but like Fallout 4, even Fallout 76 had good, background music to it. So it's hard.
You had to yield. You had to yield.
I did. You heard the heavy sigh. So, but yes, Grimm's over there laughing, but he has no idea the disdain for Fallout 76 I have. So
I can imagine, because Fallout 76 and 4 are the only ones I've played. I definitely like 4 more.
Yeah.
But 76 isn't the worst game I ever played.
Well,
that's because you played it after they patched all the bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah, but
and it was. I haven't played it since.
I was gonna say
I'm not getting into it. I'm not getting into it.
You literally heard the startup right there. He was like, "That." He held his tongue. I appreciate the restraint, man.
To be fair, though, I will say this, and I've said this a few times. I still have it installed on my computer just because of Zombie, and I will probably pick it up someday. but it is installed.
Yeah, that someday is going to be like Fallout 9 comes out. Hey, you want to pick up 76? Yeah, they just closed the servers yesterday. Man.
Oh, well.
He's sitting there with his calendar waiting for the day the servers close. He's like, hey, man, you want to play Fallout 76 tomorrow? The servers close. Well, shucks. Anyway, I got to go to bed.
Oh, speaking of servers closed, real quick, did you hear the big news, Arson?
About what?
That they're saying that they're closing down the DBD mobile servers.
What? I thought that was pretty good.
Well, apparently there hasn't been an update on there. They haven't done any new tomes on there. No new anything on there. No events, and a lot of people are saying that it's going to be shutting down. Like wow, that's what they're saying at least.
Well, until they axe the servers, we'll just have to wait and see on that.
Yeah. But I just saw that today, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. I can't stand mobile, but
mobile gaming.
Like, that's so stupid. Anyways, but all right. So yeah, that was a good choice, Zombie.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I completely lost the order on things here, so I guess I'll just go again. Oh, jeez, what did I forget? Oh, okay.
Jeez, Rick.
Oh, jeez. I'm not gonna take this one from Grip. I was gonna bring it up but since he's here, he can bring it up himself. I know he's gonna bring it out. So I'm gonna bring out one of my choices. That is the Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies music. Like the music alone is fantastic, but the real meat and potatoes is when you get into the Kevin Sherwood songs. Basically, for those unaware, in every map there is an Easter egg song, whether it's like shooting X and Y or finding like 3 things that you have to interact with or flushing a toilet 3 times. Upon completion of doing that, it will play a song for that map. And every map has one, and there are so many good maps. Of all the music, like where it's like, you shoot and kill things by the hordes, like aside from Mick Gordon with like the modern Doom games, this like Kevin Sherwood's zombie songs are some of the best music I've listened to while killing zombies. They're so good. Best metal I've listened to. There's just so much fun, and I eagerly anticipate whatever he's gonna come out next with Black Ops 6, because the 2 that have already come out with the maps, they're so good. I like them a lot. Shame they aren't on Spotify, but I'm waiting. And they're so good.
Well, let's just say this: it's a Call of Duty game, so they're probably going to reuse the music for every single game possible until they run their course. I mean,
not this one.
Too
not
soon?
when it comes to zombies. Zombies, especially when it comes to the music, is untouched.
Look, I actually probably would play Black Ops 6, but there's no way I'm getting back into the other one, because paying $70 for a freaking DLC is BS.
Modern Warfare.
Yeah, I know. So, anyways, but yeah, I haven't heard it, but I'll take your word for it, man.
If I had to suggest one of the songs, it would be probably "Beauty of Annihilation" or 115. Those are basically praised as some of the best ones. But yeah, there's mine. Go ahead, Grim. I need to look up more songs.
All right.
By the way, I looked that up, so I'll listen to it after the podcast.
All right. So, my list wasn't necessarily in order, but the more I think of it, it probably is. So, next up has to be like one of the most slept on things I have ever experienced. Risk of Rain 2. There is not a single track from that entire game that I think is subpar at best, right? I love almost every single track. Like, even the ones I don't remember by name, I'm just like, oh, that is such a banger. And what is it? I think it's the sky it's the rain formerly known as purple. That's what the song is called, right? And it plays on the second to last level, and it's just such a vibe. And the entire Risk of Rain soundtrack, it makes you feel like you're just lost in space, and it feels so atmospheric, because as much as I love Risk of Rain, the gameplay is just kind of whatever, right? It's not bad by any means. It's passable, right? But it doesn't strive for anything. But the music elevates it so much that I'll just do solo runs on Risk of Rain just to listen to the music alone sometimes. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's hold on. I'm gonna absolutely butcher this name. Give me a second. I'm gonna look up the frickin' track's name, and I'm gonna try and.
Let me ask you a question, Grim, while you're looking that up. You're a shooter type of person, aren't you?
Honestly, not really. I do play a few shooters, but I don't play a crazy amount.
Because I had no idea what Risk of Rain was until I just looked it up, and it's a third-person shooter, in case anybody else was wondering. So,
yeah, I was gonna say it's actually one of the only shooters I play. Now that I think about it,
fair
but
enough.
It's a great one.
Starting to like you more
okay.
Well, hold on. What do you think of Fortnite?
It's funny with friends. I don't know why you would play it by yourself.
I don't know why you'd play it with friends, but
I mean, hey! Watching
It's
Optimus
see-
hit the
Yeah.
Optimus hit the Gangnam Style while sliding across ice is pretty funny.
Yeah,
Guys,
you gotta
do you want
see-
to go play Fortnite?
Oh
gotta
my!
see- Yeah, no, we gotta go see Peter Griffin hit the gritty.
Okay, sorry to get off the track
Oh.
there, but yeah.
No, you're fine.
I
Okay,
know why
so-
you play it.
Why? Because I make money?
Because someone paid you to play it.
Yes, that's the other
Cor-
game. That's the only way I'll play it is someone will pay me $100 for 4 hours. So
Dang.
that's it.
Most of the time, whenever I want Assassin to play, I just yell at him till he does it. Okay, I found the track name. It's Con Lentitud Ponderosa. I think. I
This
probably
is right.
butchered that.
I was gonna say
Thank you. And that is the what track is that? I think that's the track for the final segment of the game after the boss fight. And like the thing I love most about the names of these tracks is they have like nothing to do with the segment that they're for, right? The final boss, his theme is called "You're Gonna Need a Bigger Ukulele." Like that's just super goofy, but I freaking love his theme. I love almost all of them. One of them is called "Coping as Fuck." If I remember that one, I think that's like the desert. That one's pretty good. Distrometer, that one's good. There's one just straight up called "Risk of Rain 2." That is my single favorite one of the entire track because it's just so good. It's so good. And the DLCs, they have great music too. They do a really good job of just making you like if you close your eyes and listen to them like as you go to bed, because that's what I do sometimes, right? It just makes you feel like you're just slowly drifting in space. It's not like a hopeless drifting, but it just feels like you're just exploring space and you just have like you're just at like a point where you're going from planet to planet and you just have downtime. You know what I mean? It's just such a great track. Absolutely love Risk of Rain 2's track and the DLCs.
I should listen to the Risk of Rain soundtrack while playing Dead Space.
I don't know if it would fit that well, but I mean, you're listening to Risk of Rain, so it's peak anyway.
Listening to something serene while I'm getting torn
Yeah.
apart by a
Yeah.
slash. All right, man. That was good. Who's up again? Phoenix? I think you're.
Yeah, I was gonna
The-
say
the
then it goes
order-
Phoenix.
The order is out of whack right now, so I'm just kind of.
That's all right. What makes it different than any other week with us? So, all right. So my next pick is going to be basically one of the greatest of all time, one of the most unappreciated RPGs or JRPGs of all time, and it's a truly amazing game. We've talked about it before, mainly myself and Zhombi and Flurp. And this game is The Legend of Dragoon. The soundtrack for that is absolutely beautiful. You know, I can't really pinpoint one thing about it, but you know, because to be fair, when I'm listening to a soundtrack of a game, it's more so I get more in depth into it when it's like an RPG. I guess you have more time to listen to it, you know. And you know, I could say Kingdom Hearts as well, but that didn't even make my list. That's just a bunch of Disney music. But anyways, Legend of Dragoon, it's amazing. And Grim, I don't know if you've ever even heard of this game. Have you?
I can't say I have. It sounds cool, but I cannot say I have ever heard of it.
All right, so you're coming to us from PlayStation. I see it because I see it on your tag. And I'm assuming you have a PS5, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You owe it to yourself. Do you have the game? Do you have like the pass for PS Plus or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, in there, they have the original version of Legend of Dragoon that came out on PlayStation 1. This came out in like 1999. So
Okay.
it's an older game, but you owe it to yourself, man, to give it a shot, give it a playthrough. I literally bought it for, it was like $10 on PlayStation Store with the PS Plus pass, but I wanted it for myself. I did not want it. You know, if I decided to give up my PS Plus membership, that I didn't want to be able to play it. I have the original copy for PlayStation 1 still, but like I'm saying, the soundtrack for it is just beautifully done, and you know, I feel like Zhombi can really back me up on this one.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've heard it or listened to any of
Yeah,
it. Just but what I remember is it was a really good. It's really good, and the gameplay as well.
yeah.
It's just all around.
So I tagged that in the podcast text. If anybody wants to give it a listen, sometime. But yeah, it's absolutely just a beautiful soundtrack. There's not much more to say about it, but if not only is it a beautiful soundtrack, but like the game is just flat out amazing. It's one of my top 5 games of all time, if not top 3. But yeah, the soundtrack on it is beautiful. That's all I got to say about that.
Nice. I was gonna say I just checked it, and it is $10. Once I get paid this week, I'll probably check it out.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think it's free on the PlayStation Plus. So as long depending on the level of PS Plus you have. But it was free for me, but like I said, I wanted the real copy, so I got it on my PS5, and it's I haven't played it. I booted it up one time since I was gonna play it, but it's installed and it's not that big of a game, but it has like so much playability to it. Like it's just amazing. Yeah. If you want to know more about that, go back and listen to. Was it our first podcast that we talked about that?
It was one of the earlier ones,
Yeah.
if I remember. I know you mentioned it.
It was like either the top 5 movies or top 5 games. It was one of those two. It was first or second one because we did it all together.
I was gonna say when Assassin was telling me about your podcast, and he sent me a link. I did check it out, and I think I did see one of the first ones was top 5 games or like greatest games of all time or something like that.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's now. You got to remember the first few episodes we were just finding our footing. So it's the audio's not as good.
I let him know.
Yeah. We've grown a lot. We still have room to grow, but we're coming up on 50 episodes here soon. We're coming up on our year. Our year is going to be in February, I believe.
It's
Around
crazy,
the 15th.
Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh.
Like this is like our episode 43rd or 44th. So it's pretty cool, and we got some special plans for our anniversary and our 50th episode as long as we can pull it off. So, Grim, if you do join the team, you got a lot of homework to catch up on.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
I mean, hey, my job involves me driving around in a semi for the better part of like 8 hours a day, so I have time. I got plenty of time.
He'll come in and win that whole thing, dude.
You're gonna clean sweep it, man.
I want him on my team.
Yeah.
Oh, unfortunately, you don't have a seat.
I know
You're not even on any team.
I know. I'm gonna be your freaking sidekick in that one. Tell him what he's won, Johnny.
All right, Dale.
All right. Well, yeah. So, yeah, Dragoon, Legend of Dragoon, amazing. So, yeah, let's move on.
Nicely done. All right, Zombie.
So my next choice is a PC game called Stone Keep.
You've told me about this.
Yes. So the Stone Keep was it's a fantasy game by Interplay. Came out in 95. And it was your kind of your typical, fantasy going through the level, punching bad guys, casting spells. But the background music was good, and since Phoenix did it, I did too. I posted that's one of the songs, but there's a whole playlist with all the songs and for it. But what makes it funny is one of the levels is the fairy realm, and there's songs that like you encounter a point, and there's these fairy players, like actors and stuff like that, and you can have them sing you a song, and they are all hilarious.
Huh.
Like there's one that's called "I'd Rather Be a Dwarf,"
Oh yes, you've I think you
and
shared,
yeah,
shared that with me.
yeah, and I've either played it or showed it to you, Phoenix, and they're, I mean, it's 95 computer graphics,
You're right.
so it's not great, but it's really good.
Man, Interplay.
Don't
Uh,
play.
yeah, Interplay has had their hands on a lot of games back in the day, especially they did a lot of the Star Trek games back in the day.
Mhm.
So I as soon as you pop that name, like I knew it. I think they did like Clay Fighters as well, which is a blast from the past for me. They also, I think they did the Baldur's Gate games back then.
Yes, I believe they
They
did.
were a part of it with BioWare.
Baldur's Gate.
And then I think I think they did some Bomberman games, like stuff like
They
that.
were a real big company
They
back.
were. They did. Like
No,
I said, but the first thing I think of when I think of them, Interplay, is the Star Trek games. Like all of the ones they had a list with what was it? Activision, I think, that did it with them. I don't know. I can't be 100% for sure, but Interplay was a part of like all the Star Trek games back in the day.
Do you still remember their little tagline?
No.
By gamers, for gamers.
Oh yeah. Oh man, they were a good company. I
By
don't know if they're still
gamers.
around.
They were. They did Fallout too.
Did they really?
Yep, I was just looking it up.
Huh.
Founded in
Absolute legends.
1983. Brian Fargo. There's a bunch of them.
I just remember like the Star Trek series, Baldur's Gate, and like a couple other ones that I said, like
Best
Clay
known as the
Fighters.
creator of the Fallout series and is a publisher for Baldur's Gate and Descent.
Huh.
And
Really?
Descent was a good
Descent.
game too.
Wow.
Oh man, that takes me back. Holy crap.
Huh. Well, that's pretty cool. I just remember their logo always popping up when you start playing the game. You know,
Oh yeah.
like the Interplay and cursive that goes across the bottom. You know, but yeah. So, you've brought that up multiple times with Stonekeeper or Stonekeep. So I may
It's
have to
on
like break
Steam
down.
for about $5.
Well, I may have to look that up. All right, good game or good sound, good talk on that. More because of the nostalgia of Interplay, but
Very good. All right. Who's next? Jeez.
You?
Probably
Yeah.
you, yeah.
Am I?
Yes, it's you.
Am I?
I don't know.
Well, you're the host. You're the leader today, so it's whatever
I guess
order
I,
you want.
I guess I could decide. I could just completely flip flop it and say that Zombie goes again. No, I'll go. It's fine.
I was gonna say, I don't know. That threw you off really bad when I did that last time. So,
all right, but I think it would be an absolute crime not to mention Minecraft. It is the soundtrack that a majority of people remember very fondly. It's like a sleeper agent with like a trigger phrase or like a tune. You know, like the first couple of beats of a Minecraft song, like while you're just in the overworld collecting, collecting
wait,
wood, mining,
isn't
all
that
that
a
stuff.
movie? Sorry,
We
I
don't
had
talk about that.
am Steve.
I am Steve.
Did you see
no,
the
no, you're
trailer
not.
of that where he's like puts like random stuff on the thing and like hits it into a sword? I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, okay,
Put all this to the whoop him.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, I feel like I should just make a mention to that. Like, it's just, it's a game that I feel has to be mentioned in an episode like this since it's just a huge part of everybody's lives. I guess I'll get this other one out of the way, and it's going to be obviously another fucking another thing that I've mentioned before. The Persona series. The fact that playing the game back in February, like Reload, and I have nearly all of the music, all of the series music in my playlist. It's that good. Now, obviously, I haven't gotten all of the music. Some of it spoilers. I've mostly picked out stuff that like the majority of fans like and doesn't seem spoilery. But man, the Persona music is so good.
Wait, you're telling
Like,
me you're choosing Persona?
yeah, man.
You?
I could, you know what? I could also go for Yakuza. Yakuza also has
yep,
absolute slappers.
That is some baller music.
Yeah.
From the combat music to the karaoke, the disco, even the old freaking Sega games that you could play in the arcade.
Dude, that's like one of the best things about the games, and that game is amazing in its own right, anyways.
Oh, look at that! They bundled a game with my classic collection of games.
Right. Soul Calibur 1 through 20. No.
Oh yeah, there we go. I went from Persona to just Yakuza because Yakuza is based so good. I love Yakuza so much. I still need to finish the series. I'm still on the third game. I have completely stopped a lot of my playthroughs on games because I'm doing other things. But
how many times have we talked about this too? And you specifically finishing stuff like that?
Yeah, it's just like I've never finished it. Well, when are you going to finish it then, guy? Come on.
You non-completist. Jeez.
I'm a non-completionist. What's wrong with me? But yeah, there we go. Go ahead, Phoenix. I'm gonna stew in the emotions for a bit.
Oh, okay. Skip Grim and bring it to me. That's fine. All right.
Yep.
So
I was gonna go for Zhombi, but that would have been too cruel.
Well, he wants to pick on me anyways, because any chance he can, he's going to. So he's been trying to get me overthrown from the podcast for weeks now. But okay. So, anyways, I have 2 games left, and this one is also a JRPG. Okay. Let's just say my last 3 are all JRPGs. All right, I've mentioned everything else I can think of, like all my honorable mentions beforehand, which is weird because usually I do that at the end, but I want to get it out of the way. But this one is the Lunar Silver Star Story Complete, and this was on the PlayStation 1. Before that, it was on like the Sega Saturn, I think, and then they remastered it and put it on PlayStation 1. And man, I tell you what, I'm not a big fan of anime, but they have some really good cutscenes in there that are strictly anime. And the soundtrack to that it's like so innocent but yet so good. Like it's just got a really good feel to it. I've played through that game a few times, and it's the type of music that is so calm that you can listen to it just to chill. You could go to sleep listening to it, or you can sit there and listen to it anytime you want. Like if you haven't, I've got another here list that I can send you, but that is the full soundtrack, and it's a gem. It's one of my favorite games. I've brought this up as well. I don't know who else has played this or who else has even given it a shot.
I played the second one.
Yeah. Oh, the blue, whatever.
Yeah. That was the first one I played, and man, that music! I actually have one of the songs on my playlist on YouTube that I listen to.
Because it's so good, right?
It is. It is really good.
They did really well, because I'm pretty sure the same ones that did the music for the first one did the second one too.
Yeah.
I've never played the second one. The first one was just amazing. Because
I never played the first one. I played the second one.
Yeah. Well, which it's kind of funny. Like the original one that came out for the PlayStation, they went all out for it. They had like its own like CD soundtrack that came with the discs. So it had that bonus disc. It also had like the making of, and then it had like a cloth map of the world with it.
I have I bought the collector's edition of the second one.
Mm-hmm.
and I have somewhere, I have that map.
Really?
And I had, because it came with, so the main character, like the chick in the second one with the blue hair, which I know really narrows it down for anime characters. The chick with the blue hair. I know that's doesn't narrow it down at all. But she had a necklace, and it came with a copy of that necklace.
Wow.
And I've got both of those somewhere in my apartment.
Well, that's pretty cool. I've got the original Lunar. I still got that PlayStation game with me. Like it's in a case.
Somewhere. You gotta find that.
Yeah.
Preserve
Well,
it
now
somewhere.
I'm like frantically looking around for it, like, where the hell is it? Where the hell is it?
$6,000.
But yeah, man, that the soundtrack for the original, I can't speak for the second one, but although, Zhombi can. So like it was just a very beautiful, and was I spot on when I said that it's the type that you can just relax to, or
Yeah.
like it was like it has many different ways of listening to it. So really good, really good. Awkward silence.
Now I'm pouring through all my stuff that I have by my computer, which is where I keep, because I kept it for like D&D, because I'm like, hey, it's a free fantasy map, and I'm like pouring through all my stuff trying to see if I have it over here.
That is so funny.
All right. Well, if is that it?
That's it on my end. I got one more after this, but we'll cycle around.
All right, seems good. All right, Grim, you're up.
Okay. I'm going to make these two honorable mentions really short because my main
Before
one is
going
going
to
to
the
take
big- Yeah,
the
I
big
already know
one.
what to
The
talk about.
big one.
The
Okay.
big one.
So, first honorable mention, Pokemon. Every Pokemon game has some sort of like just super calm, relaxing tune that you can just vibe to. Delatown in the Unova games is really nice. Heart Home in the Sinnoh games is really nice. And then you got some absolute bangers when it comes to like the battle music. Garatina's theme, Baller, Cynthia's theme. Oh, how can I forget her theme? Incredible.
Hold on. Did you just snap your fingers?
Oh yeah, I did that to
He really had to
myself.
drive the point home.
Yeah, that was amazing. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, Pokemon, great. They have really, really solid music. Like
Agreed.
there's just not like any game that I can think of where I've been like, the music's kind of whatever. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot my other honorable mention.
You got so into
Anyway.
Pokemon that you forgot the other one.
Yeah, I did. Okay, here's the big one. This is gonna take a minute.
Oh, here it comes.
Monster Hunter is my single favorite game franchise, like music, combat, armor design, weapon design, anything, right? I love Monster Hunter. And Monster Hunter's music is phenomenal with a capital PH, right?
Talking about it wouldn't do it justice. You have to listen to it.
You really do. You really do. But a lot of people don't like fully respect Monster Hunter's music because they do so many different things. And you know what? I can somewhat understand that, but if you listen to Safi Jiva's theme, I've heard multiple people say it sounds like something out of a FromSoft game or like Final Fantasy and stuff, right? Does it compare to those games? Not really, no. But you want to know what else is on the complete other side of the spectrum? Xenoger's theme, which matches an orchestra with an electric guitar. They have how many? They have Xenoger, they have Astalos. Almost any electric monster has some sort of like electric riff in their like melody, right? And then you get to the bigger monsters like Fatalis, who like his entire theme is like these like gregorial chants that are just praising his just untimely like Black Dragon Destroyer vibe, right? He like whenever you hear his theme, it feels like the end of the world, right? And then you have someone Yeah, it is. And then you have someone like Malzeno, who he has his normal theme, which is phenomenal. It really plays into his vampire aesthetic, and like it really like shows how like high and mighty. And then you have his piano version, which feels the same, but in a different way, where it shows how scary he can be, because he's like a 50-foot long vampire dragon that can teleport, right?
Oh, wow.
And like when you hear the piano play the faster part that the trumpets take in his normal theme, it feels like he's hunting you down, right? And then there's this is a good segue, Nargacuga, who is like the Black Panther, like stereotypical hunter, like knight, monster. His theme, super soft, super quiet. Like it's like you almost don't want to hear it, because then you would know he'd be there, right? What else? Nergagante's theme has these massive trumpets and horns, just like blaring to show you his like dominance over you as a player, because he is just this insurmountable wall. Zora Magdaros, he's got these they might be trumpets, but I think they're French horns that like play to just show his grandiose size, that he is his entire name is the beast with fire upon its, or not his name, his track name is the beast with fire upon its back, right? And he's literally just a walking volcano, right? And with every single Monster Hunter game, they have one specific song that is the epitome of Monster Hunter as a franchise, and it is called Proof of a Hero, right? And
such a good trick.
Any rendition of Proof of a Hero stays so true to the core concept, but keeps its own like twist on the theme, right? So in Monster Hunter Frontier, it starts off normal, but then it gets like crazier with more and more instruments, because the whole shtick with Monster Hunter Frontier was that there were these normal monsters you would fight, but because Frontier's whole shtick was just being absolutely insane and wacky, right? They would just have these stupidly designed monsters that are like ridiculous, right? And like crazy powerful, all over the top stuff. And their rendition of Proof of a Hero mirrors that, right? And in Monster Hunter World Iceborne, when you fight Fatalis and you have him on the ropes, his theme like slowly fades out, and like towards the very end, all you hear is these trumpets go bump ba da dum bump 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 ba da dum bump 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 da 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 da, and it fills you with like so much like vigor and just energy that it lets you just push through that final bout and kill the black dragon, right? And then like even in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, you're fighting this giant dragon called Geismagorm, right? And he's like this underground burrower. He doesn't have wings. And he's called the Archdemon of the Abyss, because the very first time you see him, he crawls out of a massive sinkhole in the ground, and like it's just pitch black, right? And then you just see his massive arms come out as he's pulling himself out. And like the only thing I would say as a discredit to Proof of a Hero is that I think Sunbreak's version of Proof of a Hero, because it takes the darker tones of Malzeno, because you don't hear it while fighting Malzeno, I think that's literally the only downside to that version of Proof of a Hero, is because you're fighting Geismagorm with it. But the track itself is amazing. And even when it comes to Base Rise, like their version of Proof of a Hero takes a lot more like Eastern inspiration, because Rise is a lot more Eastern focus, whereas Sunbreak is a lot more Western focus. And it's just like, even in the Monster Hunter Stories games, which are like turn-based RPGs, right? Like, I don't think their version of Proof of a Hero is too crazy different from just the standard version. But like, Proof of a Hero is a song that whenever I hear it, I am filled with nothing but just insurmountable hope and just like I am ready to take whatever is on in front of me. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I told you, man. I told you it was coming.
Let me tell you something. When you know somebody's so passionate about something, when they go on for almost 10 minutes talking about the game and about everything, and I loved it, like every bit of it. We've been talking about picking that game up mainly because Arson wants me to play, and so
You should. I'm the one that got him to play it, so.
well,
It only took 6 years, but you got me there.
well, the way at this rate, it'll probably take another 6 years for me. No, but we talked about if it goes on sale for Black Friday coming up, that I may pick it up.
Because I talked about it as well.
Yeah, so if it happens,
may have a couple more people.
Oh, okay. So if it happens, then I will start playing it, and I'll probably stream it. So that way,
nice. Yeah.
So, by the way, one of the qualifications for joining the podcast is actually following me on my stream. No, I'm kidding.
The shilling, man. The shilling.
Which you can find me at Phoenix at Twitch.com.
Shameless
A businessman at heart.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Oh.
I just got a Twitch team. Look, let me just say this real quick. I'm so excited because a Twitch team finally, I finally got one, and I may actually have two now. But it's so, if you guys don't know what a Twitch team is, basically a partner has to make a team, and from there you can be invited into a fold. And this one's called the Part Timers. So I'm officially a part of a group called the Part Timers. And I'm excited about it because it opens up so much for me. And let me tell you, I was telling Zhombi, maybe, well, you know what? I'll save that for later. But yeah, I'm excited about that. But anyways, there's my little talk.
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad that I could finally remember my other honorable mention.
After you made your top one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I talked about Monster Hunter, and then like the next 7 minutes was just Proof of a Hero.
Yeah.
Darkest Dungeon. It is a dungeon crawler, and like it's mostly just filled with like these super like either like really dreary, depressing, like somber tones, or like whenever you're in combat, it's just like heart racing, like the drums are going off, and like the thing with Darkest Dungeon, it's incredibly difficult and incredibly unfair, but that's kind of the point, right? And every single thing you do could lead to the death of a character, right? And once a character dies, there's no coming back. Okay. So like the music really kind of mirrors that super, super well.
The
And then
graphics on that looks so interesting, different, I should say.
yeah, well, they're all hand drawn.
Yeah.
So
That's what it is. It looks pretty neat. But it's
It
been out
is,
since
it is.
2016, everybody.
Yep.
Didn't the second one just release?
Second one came out last March. It was either last March or this March. I can't remember which.
Either which way, the
But-
second one is. I don't know if it's better than the first, but
From what I've heard, I think they're both pretty comparable in quality. But I would definitely get the first one just because it's cheaper. And I mean, there's so much content in the first one anyway. Even if the second one has loads more, I mean, I'm well within 50 hours of my first and only playthrough, probably, and I still haven't even gotten like halfway through. So
Wow.
it's probably because I've died a lot, but ignore that part.
alright.
But yeah, Darkest Dungeon's a pretty good one. But yeah, no, Monster Hunter it's my favorite game franchise. It has some of the best like weapon designs, except World. It has some of the like greatest armor designs, including World. I love almost all of the creature designs. Every single monster fight. If there's a bad monster fight, which there are, I'm looking at you, Dipsaros. But if there is, it's mostly because they're just trying to do too many things at once, and they don't succeed at any of them. But yeah, sorry. Okay, someone else can talk.
No, man, it's all good. It's actually perfect that we got all of that out of the way for your introduction.
Yeah. I'm so glad I could absolutely just take a third of the entire podcast length.
Oh no, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed having you here so far. So
But
That's good.
all right, I guess let's
try.
just quickly wrap this up with some honorable mentions, and then we can wrap it up and move on. Right? You all good with that?
Well, I still got one to tell, and I think Zombie still has at least one. Don't you, Zombie?
Yep.
All right, let's slam it down really quick. I got time to spare. I ain't got nowhere to be right now.
All right, Zambi, go ahead.
So I've just got two. I'll go through. So we had, Baldur's Gate, the original.
Interplay.
Yeah, Interplay. And that's why I'm not mentioning a whole lot about it because it's Interplay and they did a real good job. But the last one is, and I know Phoenix, this will surprise you, Warframe.
Oh my gosh! Holy crap!
Wow.
That surprises the crap out of me.
Warframe.
Not gonna lie, I got shocked by that. I did not expect Warframe on today's list.
Well,
It's a solid pick.
It doesn't shock me at all.
That's why that was sarcasm.
Yeah.
I mean, and it like I've said numerous times, it is a really good game. The music, especially like the actual songs that they make, not just the background music that you listen to while you're playing it, is all really good.
And it's free, and Zombie needs Warframe friends. So anybody listening to this, go look him up.
I do. I need Warframe peoples.
I used to play Warframe, but I don't have the internet for it anymore.
Yeah, I played it just for you to tell you. I played it with Zombie a little bit, but we were in the middle of a mission. One of the guys that we were with had horrible internet, and it crashed, and we lost everything. And I was just like, I'm done. I haven't picked it up since. So,
Despite my numerous attempts to get him back into it.
That's true. He has tried. I'll tell you. So, is that all you wanted to say about that, or you got any more to say?
That's it.
I'll tell you one that has a really good soundtrack to it. Granted, it's like copyrighted music, but GTA 5 has, or all the GTA games, they have a lot of like licensed music in there, and it's nice to sometimes listen to music on the radio as you're driving, just while when you're streaming. And if that happens, you'll get a strike or and so I choose for other obvious reasons because everybody knows I'm a PG-13 streamer. I'm not going to stream GTA 5, but that being said, I'm assuming you want me to go next, Arson, since I just butted in anyways, or did you want to go next?
I'll just quickly get mine out of the way. I basically have nothing but honorable mentions and basically one more left that probably isn't really a heavy hitter anyways, so... Okay. Alright, so basically, I'm just gonna get these out of the way. I'm not really gonna get too into them. So, from my cheat sheet that I'm currently writing in my head, we got Cuphead. Very good orchestral.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Baldur's Gate 3 has some very good music. Castle Crashers. I love the painted theme. Dead Rising with the mall music, classic. Epic Mickey, very underrated. If you haven't listened to it, you should, plebs. Don't Starve. Just really good soulless alone music.
Don't Starve Together has if it's the same music, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's mostly the same music, yeah. What else? Sam & Max. The Sam & Max Telltale series has some very good jazzy tunes. Very fun. RoboCop Rogue City. I love the remix of the main theme.
I really want to play that.
What else? The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge.
Yes.
Very good soundtrack from T. Lopez.
Oh, yep.
Love that.
Yep.
Did you see they got a new one getting ready to come out?
Do they? I thought it was just DLC.
Well, no, it's a new game. It's not even a DLC.
Oh, is it? Then I'm very excited for that.
So it's an over-the-top game instead of like a arcade style, like side scroll.
I see. I still like the side scroll more. I like that style a lot more.
Anyways, go ahead.
Next, The Binding of Isaac. Very very good moody music.
My ex
The
girlfriend
finals,
into that.
the finals. I really love this. Like the finals has very underrated music. I love the synthwave and vaporwave stuff that they do on there.
Your stuff is pretty decent.
I also love that you can kill people with a giant spoon.
That's my favorite part.
uh, I guess I'd have to also say Undertale. I know a lot of people, but that's the fandom. We're
You know-
talking the game itself. Like the soundtrack is sublime. I love Undertale.
Can I say
And
something real quick? Ooh, sorry.
yeah, man, go ahead.
I was gonna say I was really like I was 50-50 if someone was gonna mention Undertale, and I figured it would have been you. I was like, cause I was gonna be like, if no one mentions Undertale, I'll say it, cause I don't really listen to it, but it's got some good stuff. But
It's
yeah,
got
no,
good
like,
music.
yeah.
And finally, my final, I guess, big pick, which probably isn't going to be as big as everybody else's, Crash Twin Sanity for the PS2 and the classic Xbox. I love this soundtrack purely because it was performed by Spiral Mouth, and all of the soundtrack is composed of nothing but vocals. Like making noises with their mouths, no instruments,
Oh,
all vocals.
that's cool. I like that.
Wait,
And
were
I
you,
So
don't
it's
know.
like an acapella.
were you
Yeah,
alive
it's
when that came
acapella.
out?
Oh, I was definitely alive. No, I just actually no. Yeah, I think I was alive. What am I talking about?
Barely.
I have to look.
Wasn't it?
I'm gonna have to look when it came out, but yeah, I was alive when it came out, more or less, and it is just so good. And I don't know if any of you, I know probably Grim has. I don't know if you've ever seen that one little meme of like the stormtrooper like air humping, and it's just like repeating over and over. But they took the music from that game and they they put it over it, and that link that I sent is is that music right there. It is. I love the music from Crash to Insanity. It's so goofy, it's so fun, it's so memorable. There is no soundtrack that I think is as unique and just balls to the wall as Crash to Insanity, and I love it for it.
Hmm.
And that's all from me.
Well, that's a good like run of picks you got there. Some I know, some I don't know. But
Well, now you're gonna know.
now
You're
I'm
gonna
gonna
have to know. We're
Yeah.
all going to have to look up each other's respective music and listen to the whole thing.
Well, considering I have to listen to the podcast like 4 times before I even post it, I'll know them for sure. But anyways, to finish off things, I'm assuming my final pick is by far my favorite game of all time, and I've talked about this with so many of you. But to me, the soundtrack to this game was just perfect. When it comes to some of the different tracks on here, man, like just absolutely amazing. And this game is number 7 of the Final Fantasy series.
There it is. It was on the tip of my tongue. I just didn't want to say it to ruin your moment.
Yeah. So literally, just everything about this game is just like stand out, and when it comes to the soundtrack, there's like literally nothing better, like Aerith's theme, and Sephiroth's theme, was it One Wing Angel, to the main music, to everything about this soundtrack. It's one of the best ever, and no one could tell me otherwise, because I'm just saying, look, there's one thing JRPGs do right, and that's a lot of the soundtracks. But Squaresoft, Square Enix, whatever you want to call it down the road, they, with every single Final Fantasy game, have hit it like hit a home run. But Final Fantasy VII really struck a chord with me, and it is by far. And when they remastered that music and put it in the new remake and the rebirth and all that stuff, just so beautiful. I mean, One Wing Angel is like one of my favorites, and not to mention Aerith's theme and just everything about it. Like, I don't know what you guys think about it, or if some of you've even played Final Fantasy VII, but it is.
I think I have it. I have Final Fantasy. I just don't have it installed. So
Oh man,
What is this final fantasy?
Final Fantasy with a 7 on it? I don't know, man.
I haven't heard from 1 through 6. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, why don't they start with like just like Final Fantasy 1 first? You know, I mean, I start with like.
Wait,
Wouldn't
hold
it be
on,
just
hold
Final
on.
Fantasy.
I mean, I would think so.
Hold on.
But, you
said. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Oh, okay. You mentioned you said Sephiroth. Oh wait, that's the guy from Smash Bros.
Oh my gosh. No.
That's just the Final Fantasy equivalent of Fortnite. Oh no, what are you gonna do if Final Fantasy gets put in Fortnite?
I would still not play Fortnite.
he would file a class action lawsuit.
I would absolutely. Look, Final Fantasy
Sephiroth.
games have my heart. And the thing is like, I know we've got a plan to do like a podcast, like it's in our mix of podcasts, like the history of Final Fantasy and stuff like that, because I really enjoy, like, do you know why this is just strictly for Grim? Do you know why the game was called Final Fantasy?
I do not.
So Square at the time was almost bankrupt. They put all their money that they had into one final game, and they called it Final Fantasy, or the Final Fantasy, you know, depending on how you look at it. And it literally took off, and it saved their company. So that's why Square Enix's gem of a game, like, literally is, like, it's let's look at it this way. What other Final Fantasy game has had, like, well, granted, there's been a couple, like 13 had a couple different things off of it, and 10 had 10-2, which I don't talk about that. Final Fantasy VII had a couple different, like spin-offs. They had a animated movie made about it. They've remade the games. Like, it is the most cherished and most gem of a game ever when it comes to Squaresoft or Square Enix or Square. You know, it's their top game. And let me tell you, like, there was rumors years before the PS3 came out that they were going to remake it for PS3. I literally bought a PS3 just for this game. And
You got debated.
yeah, it didn't come out until almost the end of the PS4's life. so, but, you know, I mean, it is a fantastic, phenomenal series, and I'm just saying the soundtrack for that cannot be topped in my eyes. So, that's all I got to say about that. Take us home.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent choices, gentlemen. I think that as long as this episode is, we knocked it out of the park quite well.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're still with us, thank you for coming. We've come to the end of our time. If you want to learn more about the podcast, the links are in the description or whatever. I don't know if it's there. Phoenix is the one doing all that. But yeah, glad to have you on, Grim. This has been fun.
Yeah.
Hope to see more of you, but that's not up to me.
That's partially up to you.
Even though I'm the host.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have any of my powers on Tuesdays, so
They all just fade away with time.
I laugh because it's true.
But yeah, very, very great. I'm finally happy we finally got this episode done. You know,
Right.
it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
I'm very sad that, you know, Flip couldn't make it, but you know, it is what it
Yeah.
is. But
If I
we
could've
did this
put it
in
off
your
for
honor,
another
man.
week, man,
We did
I
this in
would've.
your honor.
But
Did this all for you.
I was gonna say, I'm glad I could join the most based episode. Apparently.
Yeah.
It
Don't
was
worry,
very
it's all
anticipated.
downhill from here.
It was very anticipated for us because we've been trying to get this episode done since like July.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
dang.
Yeah, it's like literally been in the works.
I was scrolling up through my notes, like, I know I made my list. Where the heck is it? And I just kept scrolling and scrolling. I'm like, oh,
It's
Yeah,
got to be in there somewhere.
yeah,
I was like, it's gotta be here.
it's been a while, but yeah, we're thankful.
We finally
Uh,
got it, man.
exactly.
I just thought of another honorable mention.
It's too late now.
Well, you're gonna have to save it for another time.
No!
If you remember, then we'll let you get it out of the way at the beginning of the next
That'll be the
episode.
intro. That'll be the intro.
Oh my gosh.
But all right, yeah. I think we've took up enough of our time and the listeners' time. So once again, thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next episode, whenever that is.
Play
Be
Monster Hunter.
safe. Yeah, bye, Monster. Catch you all later.
Have a great day.